Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video, I want to talk to you briefly about a table from Bally Midway called Heavy Metal Meltdown. So this table was released in 1987, and it was designed by a man named Dan Langlois. Dan Langlois doesn't have a lot of tables under his name. So that's probably why you're not familiar with his name. But he was involved in tables like Gilligan's Island from 91, Radical from 1990, the Bally Game Show from 1990, Truck Stop from 88, of course, Heavy Metal Meltdown, Strange Science, Black Belt, Karate Fight, and a lot of the other tables were just prototypes or either canceled. Actually, a lot of his tables that he worked on were canceled or prototype. So Hot Shots, Still Crazy, Strike Force. What else did you have here? Ramp Warrior was also canceled. I think we talked about Ramp Warrior. I think how Ramp Warrior ended up becoming like Road Warrior or something like that. Can't remember exactly. But definitely not a name I'm familiar with. And this table is sort of like rare too. You know, they only made 1,600 units. And so it's just one of those tables that you probably, we don't talk about enough. But I was reading through the game design, and this table was actually pretty interesting because, during the game, as you play, the only sounds you hear, the only music from the table is a drum track and a bass line. And so the player is the Rockstar, and the guitar riffs get played when you hit certain shots. So hitting certain triggers will like create an extended guitar solo, which I think is really neat. And apparently it was a pinball first. So it's kind of like you're making your own music in a way. And it's an original table. I mean, it's not based on any IP, but it kind of gives you, you look at the artwork, it kind of gives you vibes of like something like Kiss, right? Just these generic rock stars, very typical of the 80s with the long hair, the frizzy hair, the jeans, the headbands, and it's just very 80s. And what's also neat about this machine is that on the topper, they have a I want to say it's what do they say in the flyer? They say something in the flyer here. Let me read it. So the topper says Bally Midway puts the power on top with a new look and pinball speaker design stacked to the ceiling for maximum output. So some of the production units had this these two speakers that looks like a boombox, where the music would come out of. But it seems like the creators of this table really wanted to make you feel like they wanted to give you the total concert package, which is from their flyer. I absolutely love reading flyers because they have a funny way of trying to sell their product. So it says here, the party continues at Bally Midway, so crank up your pinball profits with Heavy Metal Meltdown. If it's too loud, you're too old. I just couldn't help but laugh at that. It's just they're I love the pinball companies because they are great pinball designers, but they also know how to write good jokes. That's just classic, right? If it's too loud, you're too old. So yeah, this machine is kind of unique in that you're pretty much the guitarist, right? You've got your multi-wall, you've got your lane change, and yeah, I mean it's a cool table. This This version is from 2016, so it's kind of dated, and there's not many like recent versions. I think a version from VPW is definitely called for, though, because it needs work. This 2016 version isn't bad, but it doesn't have all the new stuff, right? The end fuzzy physics, the bleep sounds. So it's still using like old, assets and sounds and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to upload this video. Not much to say else about it, but I think it's a cool one.